high-grade Gundam Age-3 Fortress. Hey, what's up again, everybody? Robert184, 2Rs2Bs, Gundam Reviews.net. And you've already seen the unbox for the Gundam Age-3 Fortress, Kio's second wear, although the third to be released, of the Age-3 variations. Now it's time to take a look at the individual parts before it all gets put together. Here's the unique empty plates here, and when it's all put together, you can see the parts here. You can see all the different parts that make up the legs, the big bulky waist section. Here's the gun separated, but when you put them together according to the manual, they're all going to be right on there. The common chest and head with a purple variant there, and a black Gundam marker can come in handy for the barrels. The feet were a lot of fun to put together because you're going to have such a block of purple down there. Definitely not the regular all-white limbs that we're used to, and also not the straight one color like the Sparrow's all-blue legs that we've also seen. In terms of the mobility, you can see that the hips here are going to be a little bit off-center, the way they mount on there. These are going to rotate around in a very nice bend here, which we've gotten used to. You're going to get 90 there or a little bit more, and then you can bend this back for an almost 180 there. It's going to have that 2-point thing. The knee is going to stick there on the front and look very bulky and impressive. A little bit of lining opportunities there. And you're going to put together these purple parts, which are primarily hollow. There's just a poly cap in the middle holding it all together, but more plastic than you'd think, because you're going to have this part here, which is going to move up and down. These nice yellow parts fit in there very well, and I think they're going to show off quite nicely. And on the back, you've got a 2-part thruster there. The black marker went in there just to sort of mix it up a little bit. And down here, you can see the way the foot is going to fit on there. And this is going to bend back and forth and give you a whole little toe point there if you want to put them up in the air. And a nice little touch, because usually the bottom of Gundam's feet get nicely sculpted. I tend to ignore them and not really paint, but if you wanted to do it up, here they're going to make it nice and easy for you and put on 2 seals, which are really going to help it make it look like magnetized. And here's a look at the gray part that's going to be on a poly cap, and this is what's going to attach into the bottom here when you're putting this whole thing together. The legs were fun, but the waist section is even more so. Even though it's going to start with the back where we've got the very familiar thrusters here that are going to move up and down, you can put some black, I just put some black lining in the middle of those gray parts on the inside. You do have a mount point, but he's not going to have any weapons to mount. But of more interest is going to be the front and side skirts, which I think they did a really good job of here. This is just one big piece of white here, and you're going to put in the yellow parts there, which are very familiar. They're going to have just a black line in the middle, which is going to be similar to what we've already seen on the bottoms of the legs. But the angle those are displayed at, you're definitely going to see a lot more of it, because with this one, unless you're really popping it up like that, you're not going to see all that much. But it's also worth noticing here that this isn't going to go down flush. It's actually going to go just and get stuck there. You could just spread it if you wanted to a little bit, and then it would go back, but it's probably not going to show it off as much. The side skirts are sort of interesting here. They're just going to pivot around if you want, and it's actually just one piece of yellow in here, but the way it's split up, it's going to make it look like there's more, and you've just got a one white piece on there that's going to plug into the poly cap with some black seals to go down below, and a good moving waist section. The chest section is going to be the same as the normal, except it's going to have these little purple parts here. You're also going to be getting the blue ones if you wanted to put them in, and you're not a fan of the purple. The purple doesn't really stand out here, but we'll see how it works when the shoulders are actually on. But let's take a look at the arms before that, where you're going to have a pretty standard just gray 2 pieces there to stick around a PC1, and that's going to allow the shoulder here to move up and down. It's also going to have a poly cap there, which is going to serve as a mount. Nothing fancy in the back except the fact that you're going to be able to put the guns down on there. And you're also going to have this yellow piece. I only went for 2 lines of lining. You could probably add a lot more or put some proper ink in there if you want to do it up right. Black lining is not really going to show up on the purple, but it's still better than nothing. And you can move this part in and out, and if you looked inside, you can make out the poly cap in there. For the arm itself, it's got a cool looking bicep up there, and that's going to rotate around. And for the bend, you're going to be able to get a 90 down there and bring it up for an almost full 180. The forearms are interesting here because we're used to having those white pegs stick out if you ever wanted to have weapons attached on, but in this case you're actually just going to cover them up completely with this purple part here, and you're also going to have these unique fists here, the closed fist for the left and right hands, which is going to make sense considering that he can't actually hold the weapons when they're in hand there. The manipulator covers just allow for a little bit of lining, and you are going to be getting 2 weapon holders if you wanted to for the non-existent beam sabers, or 1 dynamic hand. For the Sigma's cannons, here's what you're going to get, starting with a black seal that's going to go on the back, and they're not going to give you a seal for the front, although it's quite deep in there, almost a centimeter back, or at least a half. Anyway, I just went in there with a black lining marker, or the black Gundam marker before putting it all together. And if you want to take a look at the other nice details, it's great that they're going to give you this purple part so it's not going to be monotonous and just gray. And these seals here, you're going to have 4 of them for the shoulder cannons and 4 for the forearms, with just 1 piece of purple here. But for the mechanism, you're going to be able to take this part, plug it into the top of the shoulder, the polycap that you saw there, and hopefully that's going to allow it to rotate around a little bit. But the arm guns first here, where you can see where this is going to attach onto the peg just sticking out of the forearms there. Similar sticker pattern here that you're going to have on both sides there. Some black ink on the inside. Bandai provides one back here. This is actually going to have a little silver tick mark here. And when they're on, you're going to get a rock solid fit here for this. You can pop it off occasionally, but it's going to really feel secure when it goes on. But you'd think that they could have done something sort of interesting, like have these rotate around a little bit. It just seems like just a regular polycap instead of this square one would have allowed for at least a few more different poses. But nonetheless, the fact that it's on there securely and hopefully not going to cause any weight issues with a high grade is already a good plus. However, when you move up here, it's going to look really good, and this is a huge advantage over the advanced grade, where his cannons are going to be locked into place. This is going to move all the way up like this and all the way down, almost 90 degrees. However, if we're talking side to side, and you look at it from the front, you're only going to get about a few degrees either way. Definitely a missed opportunity that this one can't rotate around more fully, and this one also could as well. However, it's still a nice step up on this one where you've got to move them all up and all down. The core fighter is going to do its regular thing for the transformation, and when it's attached onto the Gundam, you can see where the head's going to get hidden on there. Some nice details like seals on the back, inside the yellow parts there, gray on the body, white seals on there, and you can put a silver seal under the clear green if you choose. And to drop the head into place here, you're going to have a pretty slick looking Gundam head when it's all put together, thanks in no small part just to the fact that there's so many colors there, with the red jewel, the blue part, and then the yellow part behind that for the V-fin. Some black lining is going to go in there well. This polycap just seems like it's coming across as a little bit loose, but you are going to have the red for the goatee, and when you combine it with the fact that they put the white below there, and the gray and the yellow inside, it's definitely looking very good for only a high grade. The parts for this Age-3 Fortress are looking pretty good so far, thanks in no small part to the fact that there's yellow details all over the place, with that nice little theme there of just having the black line down the middle and some black seals to go in on the inside. Big bulky waist section and some pretty cool looking weapons, with the pluses that you're going to have the purple on it, these black seals, the black seals as well on the back, and the yellow parts are going to look great up here on the shoulder, especially compared to the purple. Would be nice if they had had a little bit more mobility, but it's going to be a huge step up on the advanced grade already. But it's sort of interesting just to put together a Gundam. When you're building up the arms and building up the weapons, you have to wonder what is the rest of the manual for. But combine it with some purple parts there for the shoulders, and some really unique ways that these legs are going to be put together here. Big blocky knees on the front, and this part here, thrusters that are going to move on the back, the front toes, and yellow parts there that are going to be nicely shown off. And the fact that you can move the toes and have some pretty cool silver stickers underneath. Anyway, it was a lot of fun to put together, did not feel repetitive in the least. So stick around and you can see it all put together in the next part. And as always, let me know what you think with a comment down below. Thanks for watching, everybody. See ya.